Yes, people, I did it. I triumphantly walked into the cinema to go and watch Captain America Brave New World, aka Falcon Cap movie. Yes, I walked in there with confidence. I said, you know what? I didn't have much high expectations for this movie, but I am going in there with an open mind. I'm going to triumphantly walk in there, watch the movie. I said to myself, yes, I'm not going to prejudge it. Let's do this. I suppose my first indication that something was wrong was that myself included, there were only 9 people in the cinema. So, yeah, let's get into this. So, people, yep, this is going to be my top 10 takeaways from the Falcon Cap movie. As you know, I keep it real, honest to God. So I'm going to go over the top 10 things in this movie that I took away from it and be the judge going forward. And then I will give my overall score at the end. So let's dive into this one first off the bat. We have number one, no surprises. There are no surprises in this movie. I mean that literally. In like literally the first minute, I mean the first minute of this movie starting, you know exactly who the villain is going to be. You know exactly who the villain is going to be. And of course, you know, it's the leader. Ooh, big shock. I should have probably mentioned at the beginning that this video, yeah, spoilers going forward, but you know, honestly, you don't really care. But still, no surprises. Literally everything you can think of that is going to happen in this movie happens. I wonder, is the leader the villain? Yes. I wonder, is the pills that Thunderbolt Ross is taking, did he get them from the leader? Yes. Hmm. I wonder if those pills are gonna make him turn into the Hulk. Yes. I wonder if the leader is setting things up to start conflict between America and Japan. Yes. Hmm. I wonder if I wonder if Falcon Cap is going to figure what's going on very easily. Yes. I wonder if people are being mind controlled. Yes. Hmm. I wonder if this makes absolutely no sense. Yes. It just goes on like that. Honestly, throughout the whole movie, it just goes on like that. You're sitting there and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, but kind of thought this was coming. You're like, I wonder if the leader wants to hurt Ross, but doesn't have an actual plan in mind other than just, you know, making the world seem like a monster. Yes. That is it. There are no surprises in this. Literally none. You could tell this entire movie just from like the trailer and that would be it. There's nothing in there. Nothing in there to say, well, okay, this is something with nothing. Number two, why is Isaiah Bradley in this movie? Okay, they introduced Isaiah Bradley in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was a black man who was a soldier who got experimented on for the super soldier serum, spent 30 years in prison. All that. Okay, all right. But he's in this movie. Why? I'm not entirely sure. Because you see him giving Falcon Cap a little bit of training there. Then they go to the White House for something because because Ross, who's not the president, invited Falcon Cap and he told him, you know, the only way that he would come is if he could bring Isaiah Bradley with him. They went there. Isaiah Bradley got mind control, shot at Ross, ran outside, gets surrounded, and then, you know, he's confused as what happens, and he's telling Falcon Cap, I can't go back inside, but then he does go back inside. And then when he's inside, then now they're moving him to solitary confinement, and I'm not going to solitary confinement, and he ends up in solitary confinement. It's like they wanted to do something with him in this movie and just decided, let's just take the most bare bones, pathetic approach possible and do that. Rather than take anything out. I mean, had you actually had him doing something in this movie that may have been interesting and impressive, okay, maybe he was the key to finding out something because back in the day when he was with this unit or the other, he came across something that was there and he had to help them. What maybe that would have been something. But other than the fact you just have him there because you just want to say that okay, he gets mind control. He then goes attack the president. So they lock him up, no trial, no nothing. They just throw him in there because they don't want to you're trying to play out the he's a black man being unjustly persecuted. It's really ridiculous. It's really, really ridiculous. And then also, apart from him being in there, Ruth Batserup, originally former Black Widow. Why is she in this? She's like 4 feet 1 inch tall. You understand me? Looks like a 12-year-old child. And for some reason, they keep playing this thing up and you see her. I mean, she does it like once where she just takes out some guys 10 times her size, really. And other than that, she just walks around with this stoic look on her face. And I don't even know, honestly, I literally had to pause myself to remember what this woman was actually doing in the movie. What she was doing there, what Isaiah Bradley was doing there, I have no idea whatsoever, but they were just there for some reason. Number 3, A Poor Man's Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Incredible Hulk. Okay, here's the thing about this movie. This movie is apparently a sequel to the Incredible Hulk movie that came out so long ago. Why? I don't know. But it's also just a poor man's version of Winter Soldier and Civil War. That's it. That's really what it is. Because the way the movie starts, so it's pretty much the same way that Winter Soldier started off. You see, when Captain America came onto the ship and started to take out the people, basically you have Falcon swoop down there, take out some people, bam, 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 go on, and then you even have this one of these soldiers and then make this line at the end, save some for the rest of us, Cap. That was, and then not to mention, like I say, when we talk Civil War, because you're basically throwing in the brainwashing thing again, but this is, instead of Bucky, this time it's Isaiah Bradley. But the whole thing makes absolutely no sense. None. You could tell they were literally borrowing parts from these movies, trying to see the companies together. Why you would think that the first outing for Falcon Cap should be a follow-up to Incredible Hulk? I don't know. Because if you want to do a follow-up to Incredible Hulk, have Hulk in it. And I don't mean Red Hulk, I mean actual Hulk. But now you have freaking, Professor Hulk, which is a total moron. It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. You could pretend all you want, but this thing played off very bad. This was literally a poor man's Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Incredible Hulk. That's what it was. They were literally plagiarizing parts from these movies to put in there. You could actually see it. You were watching it, you were like, but this happened and so on. So this is just a copy of that. It was really that obvious. Honestly, really that obvious. Number 4, not Captain America. Okay. It doesn't matter how many times in this movie people refer to Falcon Cap as Cap and Cap and Cap. And oh, Cap, look here, look at the other. No, he's not Captain America. He'll never be Captain America. And this, if this movie did anything, it just cemented that fact. Honestly, just cemented that fact. Because the thing about it is that basically, we feel, okay, Steve Rogers is Captain America. That's his whole thing, but he's Captain America. Right? But he's also a super soldier. He took the super soldier serum, he could do things, he could throw his shield, catch it, move, all this other stuff. So Sam Wilson didn't take it. And parts of the movie had him, you had this part where he was talking about, maybe you should just take the serum and all that, because apparently now the serum is readily available like Pepsi for anybody to have, but whatever. Understand me? And they tried to explain some of the things in this movie that don't make no sense, because basically what it is that his suit now is from the Wakandans. It have vibranium, so that's how he could do certain things with the suit. Or that absolutely makes no sense because basically what this boiled down to was he was basically Black Panther cosplaying as Falcon, cosplaying as Captain America. I was pretty much it because there are things Captain America could do that Sam Wilson would never be able to do. Like, for instance, there was this one part where he actually kicks the shield and it bounces around knuckle people and comes back to him. That would never work. If he kicked the shield, his foot would shatter. That's the point of it. It's made of it's heavy, it's built. His foot would shatter if he did that. But you're somehow supposed to believe that this man is able to do this because utterly and the vibranium super is absolutely ridiculous. Really, really ridiculous. Which actually leads me in to number 5. Less is more is less. You know what made Winter Soldier quite possibly the best MCU movie? It was less, but it did more. Let me explain that. You didn't have to really stretch your brain to understand Civil War. Civil War had a simple plot, but it was also complicated. It also flowed well. You don't get that with this movie because this movie tries to be something, doesn't actually know what it's doing, hope it's going to pull it off, realizes it doesn't, and then tries to backtrack. I mean, like, okay, as I say, less is more. When you first introduced the Falcon in Winter Soldier, then he came back after that. He didn't have all too much gear, but he was still an interesting and well done character. In this movie, like I say, he has the vibranium suit that he got from Wakanda because apparently now they can't stop with Wakanda. Everything is Wakanda, 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 Wakanda. Right? It does too freaking much. You understand me? And when you add in this CGI, that just looks terrible to be honest with you. When it comes to certain things that he's doing, it doesn't work. I mean, even for instance, Giancarlo Esposito, you could tell this man was a last minute entry into this movie. You could tell that. Because rather than actually make him the villain, because it would have worked, because he literally has an ability to steal any scene that he's in. Instead, you get a man who's like in his 60s trying to fight off Anthony Mackie, and you know, you're supposed to believe this actually works, but it doesn't actually turn out that way. It really doesn't. The movie tries to introduce a whole other thing. They even literally introduce adamantium because you know and that they also follow up. The movie also follows up Eternals, a movie that literally nobody gave a shit about. And the Celestial's body is made out of adamantium. So yes, you know they're foreshadowing the X-Men there. How they're going to do that, I don't know because nobody wants that anymore. Right? So you have adamantium, you have the leader, you have Japan and America and some kind of conflict the leader trying to stir up between them. Plus you have Ross who turns into the Red Hulk at the end. You have all this sort of stuff going on there, and it does not work. They're trying to throw in too much when they should have just cut back. Like I say, look at Winter Soldier that actually had a political theme to it and everything centered around it, but it worked. It worked. You weren't trying to scale Mount Everest. You were just climbing up a hill, but when you got to the top of that hill, you realized, hey, you have actually scaled Mount Everest. This movie was trying to scale Mount Everest and couldn't even get up the damn hill. That was it. Number 6, it's clear what this movie was supposed to be. You see all those talk about the reshoots and the political this and that. Yeah, yeah. Now, for one thing, it wasn't overly political and preachy, but you could tell what this movie was actually supposed to be. You could tell what was going to happen, what it is they were actually originally planning to do. but they made certain cuts because you could tell that they cut out the Serpent Society, replace it with Serpent, had Giancarlo Esposito come in there for only like 3 scenes and just totally wasted the character. You understand me? The whole thing centers around Thaddeus Ross, who's basically like a stand-in for Trump if you want to look at it that way. You understand me? And the big thing is that what happened in Incredible Hulk is that the leader got some of Banner's blood into his mind, so he became really smart. But his entire design, his head, everything looks just disgusting. But that's the thing about it, right? And what did Ross do? He kept him in prison and used his knowledge to help him build weapons and things like that. Okay, so Shield did the same damn thing with the Tesseract. You didn't see them going to jail or anything like that. But they tried to act like, oh, Ross promised that he would release him. He was helping Banner, who was a wanted criminal. You understand me? The man had knowledge, he used it. I'm not saying it was right, but he did it. That's what happened. You are acting like it's something it really wasn't. You understand me? They literally play this thing out in this movie. You can tell what this movie was actually supposed to be. But they don't seem to want to act like this is some big thing, because even when you do get the big reveal of what he did to Ross, I mean, yeah, this thing where he literally where Ross literally set him up with a secret base to do all of this stuff. Which again comes down to this another play on Winter Soldier, where it had the secret Hydra military base. This is another ripoff of it, honestly. And if I had passed it, it would have made no sense, because the whole thing with Isaiah Bradley getting brainwashed and all that kind of thing, how did that actually work? You understand? When it came down to the leader, somehow he got a hold of Isaiah Bradley's medical information. I don't know how he got it, but whatever, he got it. All right. He then orchestrated. But then it doesn't negotiate how he was even there, because Falcon only agreed to come to the White House after insisting that he get to bring Isaiah Bradley along. Then why? Even if he did that, why would you mind control Isaiah Bradley? That would only make Falcon Cap want to investigate more. So it pretty much sounded like you had the leader doing everything, and the man turned out to be a total moron, because his giant plan was to destabilize talks between America and Japan over the adamantium, have Ross turn into a Hulk, and then he literally surrendered himself at the end because reasons. It was like, what were you trying to do? You could tell what this movie was. They couldn't figure out what to do. They just went with something. That was it. Number 7 is not as bad a hatchet job as the Marvels. Okay, you can tell this movie was cut up and stitched together in certain places, but not as badly as the Marvels. That's probably the one thing it has going for it. With the Marvels, you can literally tell there were whole giant pieces missing from this. With this now, you can tell that there are pieces missing that don't fit together properly. But it's not enough to make you go, oh God, now it is there. But it's not rammed into your face that much to you to realize what's going on. There's also some jokes in there, but it's not as bad as has come with the MCU as of late. So yeah, and that's probably one positive thing about it. It's not as bad a hatchet job as the Marvels. That's the one thing. Number 8, Red Hulk. Before I even get to Red Hulk, let me talk about this for a minute. When you have Harrison phone it in Ford, right? When you have Harrison Ford turn out to be the best actor, or give the best performance in this movie, something gone horribly, horribly wrong. Because honestly, he gave pretty much the best performance in this movie. You could tell things were changed. They got rid of Falcon's whole love interest thing, because that was because it don't gonna make any kind of sense. But Harrison Ford was the only one actually showing any kind of emotion or anything in this movie, and you could tell he and all didn't even want to be there, to be honest with you. But that was going on. Then you got to Red Hulk. And here's my thing with Red Hulk. Yeah. You've done Hulk in other MCU movies before. How did it all go so wrong? The CGI does not work. But the one thing about Red Hulk that actually does work is the fact that he's actually acting like Hulk. He does the clap, he does the leaping around and all kind of stuff like that. Nobody cares about Professor Hulk. That's the kind of Hulk that they want to see. The problem with this is when you get the fight between him and Falcon, right? It literally makes no sense because all Falcon Cap is doing is just running and scratching him with his wings, and that's about it. It's basically like if you know a small feral cat is trying to fight Hulk. Then that's it. That's it. And then after he captures him and slams him around and rips off his wing and all kinds of stuff like that, how does he get him to stop? By literally just talking to him, and then he just sees some cherry blossoms and he turns back into a shirtless Harrison Ford. That's it. You know what would have made that much more interesting? If you actually had Hulk fighting Red Hulk. That's what people would have wanted to see. But you hyped up Red Hulk throughout this whole movie to give people like 5 minutes of the lamest fight ever. It was just really bad. And then at the end, he just talked to him, and that was it. You kind of sitting there wondering, if he was going to go with him and like, rub his hand and say, "Sun's getting real low, big guy," and you're like, what? It just didn't work in my opinion at all. Number 9. Okay, so you have this guy who is the new Falcon, right? I think his Torres is his name or something so like that. But and I say that because I'm having a hard time even remembering. Okay, Joaquin Torres is his name. I don't remember what exactly this guy was doing in the movie because he was supposed to be like, I don't know, like the new Falcon or something like that, but he just had absolutely no presence other than trying to fill the role of Black Widow. You know how in Winter Soldier you had Captain America and Black Widow on this thing, but well now you have Falcon Cap and Joaquin Torres was trying to be Black Widow, but it just wasn't working. Honestly, I mean, I really don't know what this guy was actually doing in the movie because the only thing I could really remember about him was that he kind of works in the military. He had on the Falcon suit. He flew around for a little bit. He got injured, just like what happened to Rhodey in Civil War because they had to try and take that from him there too. Then he was in the hospital bed talking with Falcon. That was pretty much it. I really don't know what the guy was doing. They were acting like he was supposed to be some big thing, but it just didn't work at all. I was trying to figure out but he just wasn't very memorable, to be honest with you. Wasn't memorable at all. And then you have number 10, the plot. I don't know what in the name of God this was supposed to be because the leader who is supposed to be smart was imprisoned by Ross for 16 years or something like that, where he told him that, listen, if you help me with this, I will give you a pardon. And apparently he's supposed to be so smart, but was stupid enough to believe him and then help him. And then he started to brainwash people, not because he wanted to take over anything. He just wanted to show the world what Ross was. And then, if I don't, Ross went in because his heart was failing. So he gave him some pills that were laced with gamma radiation to turn him into Red Hulk. And I don't understand how nobody figured that out because even as the president, he has to do like checkups and all that sort of stuff. So some people and notice elevated gamma in his blood, but no, it just, and that was really that was really the whole plot, because the whole thing with the Celestia and all that sort of, just didn't even make any kind of sense. You were wondering what the leader was trying to do, but like I said, there's no surprises in this movie. You knew exactly what was going to happen when it was going to happen. He literally had no plan. He had no, nothing to take over anything, to rule anything. No, he just wanted to get back at Ross for locking him up for 16 years, and then he just gave up. That was pretty much it. I was like, so we couldn't let us escape all them or some shit like that. What the hell? But that was my top 10 takeaways. But if you made it this far, I'm gonna give you a bonus 11. The multiverse is coming. Right? Because at the end now, our post-credit scene, when Falcon Cap goes to see the leader, he's telling him that, what are you going to do when the others come? And that this isn't the only world, and they're coming, and you're like, oh, great, the multiverse. Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to find out more about that in Fantastic Four, and then we have Dooms. Look, I, it doesn't, it needs to stop. So, but it needs to stop. It just is not working anymore. It just needs to stop. So that was my top 10 takeaways from Captain America Brave New World. I will give this movie a 2 out of 5. I mean, it just wasn't executed well at all. It wasn't. You could tell after all those reshoots and all of that, they just didn't know what they were doing. And I'm telling you, people, when it is you see word of mouth starts to spread about it, and I see people who go and see it over the weekend, I think this movie is going to hemorrhage bad at the box office. I could see that happening. If I'm wrong, but I'm telling you, I'm seeing that happening. It's already getting some bad reviews. It just, this movie is not working. They don't know what they're doing, and this is proof of it. You could have told that movie to have Falcon Cap really take over as Cap if you wanted to do that, but no, it wasn't. Even having Bucky Barnes come in there for a cameo, where apparently he's now going with him some kind of congressman or something like that. I don't even know how that shit works, but it's not working. Ruin the MCU, and it's time to stop. It's just time to stop. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like it, usually hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.